Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, January 15th. I hope all of you are well. And for those of you who are in the Southern California area, I hope you're safe and sound. Your family, you, your pets, your home. It's been heavy-handed here, those of us who do live in California. So today's live topic, and thank you for joining me, is about the power of pausing, especially when things are not working out for you, the power of pausing. And this is a really powerful thing. And we're not just going to be pausing on action, we're going to be pausing on thoughts. So that is today's live session. And as always, if you have questions about the topic or other things, please let me know. Welcome, Heidi. Welcome, Matthew. Good morning. So let's just clear the energy of the room and then we'll get started. Yes, thank you so much for sending love to all of us at California. It's been very, very heavy and just, it's been very heavy. But very fortunate to be alive, to have a roof over the head, to have my dog Happy be good. Although he just recently went through a procedure under anesthesia and he came back to me, and I was a little nervous because he has a heart murmur, and the doctors were a little concerned if he was going to pull through the anesthesia, but he did. So I'm so grateful for my Happy. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for electricity. I'm grateful for the water. I'm grateful to be able to wake up in my warm bed and all the simple things in life. I'm grateful for, my family and everything. So there's we have to be thankful every day, every moment, every second. Grateful for the air that we breathe, right? Could you imagine if we don't have this air? So grateful for many, many things, small and big, and grateful for the work that I'm doing building this AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system. So for those of you who have not completed our survey, please, I urge you to go to this link. I'm going to put it right here, right now. 69moons.co/consumers. And this is a survey where you can answer questions about what you would want in such an AI educational platform, untraditional, that can serve you and your family's wellness. And that's why we're doing this. It's going to be free for you. There's going to be no cost to you. So we really just want to get feedback about what you would want in such an AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system. Okay. Hello, Ella. Welcome. So let's clear the energy of the room and get started. So just breathe naturally, stay present in the now. Dear God, angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space. We ask you during this day, during this time, to uh, guide and protect all of the people who are dealing with the fire, and whether they have lost their family, whether they have lost their home, whether they have lost their pets, please protect and guide them and show them the way and protect anyone who has homes that are still undergoing the situation. So thank you so much for protecting them and always, always showing them the way. Thank you so much for allowing us to open this sacred space so that we may have this wonderful conversations about the power of pausing and to be able to engage and exchange with each other, these beautiful souls in this room, to have wonderful conversations and have flow and to be able to deliver messages that are for the highest and best good for all involved. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for also removing any low frequency energies that do not belong in this sacred space so that we may all have a beautiful session with flow, ease, and beautiful engagement with each other. And so it is. Namaste. Okay. Okay, so going back, we're going to now start with the session of the power of pausing. I would say the power of pausing is one of the most important actions that you take. And we're not just going to be talking about the power of pausing, meaning pausing action or pausing decision. We're also going to be talking about the power of pausing your thoughts. That is probably even more important and the precursor to pausing action or decision, because everything flows from our thoughts and our emotions, right? A lot of times we have thoughts and then it informs our emotions. And then from the emotions, it informs our decisions and action. And so, that's why the pausing of the mind becomes even more critical, because that is the precursor to everything. And so, how many times have you or any of us felt like nothing's working? Nothing seems to be working. Maybe you're trying to find a job, right? And you've applied to every job that there ever was, and nothing is returning to you. Nobody is contacting you. Nobody seems to be interested, right? And we're getting more frustrated. We're getting more anxious. We're getting more resentful of this process. And we feel that life is unfair. We feel that nobody cares. We feel all these things that really is kind of, creating a momentum of just going down the hill more and more and more and more and more, because nothing seems to be working out for us, like nothing. And I think we've all been in that situation where nothing seems to be working, right? Anything that we try, it feels like nothing is yielding. And when you have that feeling, you're driving that momentum of that downhill spiral. That's what you're driving. You're starting to drive that momentum bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you drive this momentum of this downward spiral, what's happening is the universe just keeps meeting you where you're at. So if you are here, the universe is meeting here. As you're going down this downward spiral, the universe is going down with you like this, right? Because the universe is always inclusive. It's not exclusive. Always remember that. The universe is inclusive. So as you're going down this downward spiral, mental, emotionally, the universe is going with you because you're pulling those energies towards you, the same energies. It's always law of attraction 101. Where you place your attention is really where the energy flows. Where you place your attention is where the energy flows. And so this is when the power of pausing is one of the most powerful things that you can ever do. The power of pausing. Why? Because as you keep doing this as you keep going down this downward spiral, you've got to it's like a train that's going, right? And how do you stop the train? You've got to stop that runaway train, right? The train is about to go off the cliff, right? The train is going and it's heading towards the cliff and it's going to jump off the cliff, right? And so at some point, you've got to stop that train before it goes off that cliff. Because once it goes off the cliff, it may be just way too late. Way too late. Well, there's never a situation in your life where it's too late. It's not like, it's not like the train that definitely goes off the cliff. That is way too late. But in life, when you make decisions or you're going, and even though the momentum is really strong for this downward spiral, you can always stop it and start to reverse it. It's going to be harder and harder when the momentum goes further and further and faster. It's going to get harder and harder at that point. So you want to try to pause at a point where the momentum hasn't exceeded so fast that now it's too hard to stop. You want to pause, you want to stop it or start to reverse it when the problem's not that as big. And so the technique of pausing becomes so, so critical because that's the technique that is going to help you to nip it at the butt when it's a small issue, not as big. Nip it at the butt, nip it at the butt. So what it is this is that for somebody, so there's different levels now of pausing that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the level of where everything is so bad and nothing seems to be working out, right? That's a level where the momentum is pretty high. That's from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, it could be 8, 9, 10. And that's when you have to walk away from the situation, meaning like you have to pause. That doesn't mean you're not going to return to the situation. That doesn't mean if you're looking for a job that you're not going to return to looking for a job. It means that you've got to stop looking for a job at that point temporarily. You've got to stop because the more you keep doing it, the more you're spiraling downward. And the more the universe just keeps you seeing the same thing over and over again. And as you just keep spiraling faster and faster, it's not going to do you any good at that point. And that's the point where you want to pause. That means pause. Pause all action that you're taking to find this job and walk away. Walk away. Because you've got to start to get your mental and emotional space in a different place. You've got to reverse that train, stop that train. But the only way to do it at that point is to pause and walk away. Meaning that walk away, spend some time with nature, spend time with the things that are going to allow you to come home to your soul, with the things that are connect you to the divine, connect you to spirit team, connect you to higher self. Because those are the states when you are connecting to your higher self, that's a state of infinite possibilities because that is your eternal state. Your higher self, your soul is an eternal state of infinite possibilities. And when you start to tap into that state that that I have infinite potential and I have unique gifts and talents and gifts that God has bestowed upon me to create and manifest beautiful things in this physical time space reality, that's when things start to turn around because you're now vibrating at a higher frequency. You're vibrating at a different energetic frequency and you're starting to level up your vibrational frequency, even if it's just a crack that you made, just that little crack that you made. So you've got to really start to tap into your infinite potential, the sense that you are connected with your higher self, connected with the divine, connected with all of the universal forces that even if you don't know exactly how it's going to go, when it's going to happen, it's okay because you're trusting in the process and you're trusting in yourself and the process of life and the process that the universal forces will always support you. So you have to start to get into that mental and emotional state of being. You have to start to get into that when nothing is working out. That's why you have to pause. Because if you don't pause, you're not going to be able to return home to your soul. You're not going to be able to start to return home to your higher self, to make sure that the connection to the divinity, to spirit is there. Because when you're in a state of frustration, when you're in a state of just like you're so exhausted and burned out by the process, when you're in a state of depression or stress or anxiety, you're not connected to those higher states of consciousness, right? You're not connected to that. So that's why you have to just pause and you have to walk away. Because if you continue, you're going to continue with the downward spiral and it's going to get worse. And it might be to a point where it's so bad that you might have to start taking, maybe antidepressive pills or whatever it is. Or, it might, lead to alcoholism, whatever. These are all things that we do to help us deal with life, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drug, whether it's overeating, whether it's shopping. These are things that we do to help us deal with all of that stuff, right? All of that heavy weight of anxiety, stress, depression. And you don't want to go down that road because when you go down and when you start to spiral really badly, those are the things you're going to resort to give you some relief, right? If you take, if that's why we resort to those habits because we're trying to get some relief. We're trying to mitigate, we're trying to relieve our feelings of depression and anxiety and stress and all these things. And so the best thing is to just say, you know what, I know that I need to pause this. I'm not going to work on this anymore. I'm going to go back. I'm going to focus on other things. You can either focus on other areas of your life, or you could pause and say, you know what, I'm going to take a few days off. I'm going to go spend time with nature. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to the mountains. I'm going to go to the ocean. I'm going to go to the desert, or I'm going to spend time with my family. Just spend pure, joyous time with my family. Whatever it is that can help you come home to your soul. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to do stuff for myself that allows me to come home to my soul. So that's a powerful time to pause. And then what it is over that time period, when you start to feel like, wow, I'm feeling connected with myself. I'm feeling connected with the universe. I'm feeling connected with the divine. I'm feeling connected with spirit. That's when you're going to start to feel that you're worthy. Feel that you're confident. Feel that the universe is really supporting you and has your back. And that is the time when you can actually return to what it was you were trying to do, was to find that job. Because in the other state, nothing is going to hit. You're not a magnet of great things to come in. You're not a magnet of cooperative components that you desire. You're just going to be a magnet for those things that are not working out for you. And so that's the time. So you're pausing to reconnect with all of the beautiful higher states of being that you truly are, so that you can be an attractor of the higher opportunities, those opportunities. That's why that pause is so important. So whatever it takes for you, and for some people, it may just be a day. For some people, it might be a week. For some people, it might be a couple of weeks. It really depends on what it is that you need. What it is that you need. For some people, it really depends on where you are at. So give yourself the time to pause and connect and reconnect with your higher self. Okay. Hi, Raina. What a beautiful name. Hi, Matthew. Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Moon is better than therapy. Well, you know what? A lot of the stuff that I provide is because I literally had to do it in my own life. And I see the things that work and see the things that don't work. And that it's coming from that place. It's coming really from my own personal experience of what I've had to do to pull out of situations or elevate my life or be on my soul's journey. It's all of the things that I talk about is things that I've had to do myself. And from personal experience, that's where I'm talking from. Not from an academic experience, not from an educational experience. It's coming all from my own personal experience of what I had to practice. And it's all practice. Okay, so does anybody have any question about what I'm talking about so far before I go off to part two? If you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, Ella, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Top-notch therapy. I'm t I don't consider myself that way, but I appreciate it. I'm here to share my experiences for your expansion and growth. That's what I want to see. I want to see your expansion and growth. I mean, this is why I come on every week, and I'm really passionate about doing this because, I feel that I am one with the universe. I am one with you, and you are one with me. We are really one with all each other because we all come from that source energy. So when I help you, I'm actually helping myself, believe it or not. So in some ways, I'm a little selfish because when I help you, I'm actually helping myself. Okay. Heidi Moon, you're an amazing, beautiful soul. Grateful for your sharing your experiences, knowledge, and guidance. You're welcome. Hi, Raina. Thanks to you for this beautiful session. You're welcome. Okay, so if you don't have any other questions, let me go to step two, the second part of this. Yes, absolutely, Heidi. We are all connected. We are one. Absolutely, because we all come from that source energy. And what it is this is that our ego minds have separated all of us. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like politics because it's the ego mind that plays into it and just separates everybody. And I don't, and not really understanding the true nature of who we are, that we are all connected to each other energetically. And so that's why when one is affected, the other place is affected. When one area of humanity is affected, it's going to affect all areas of humanity around the world. It's energetically connected. And when you understand that we are energetically connected, you must behave and treat others as if they were your family member, not just not that they're somebody else's family member, because it comes back. It energetically all comes back to all of us in some form that we don't even know. It's the infinite wisdom of the universal forces of how energies return to us. It's all feels invisible, right? But it's the laws of energy, how it returns to us. And that's why it's so important that we recognize that we are actually connected to each other. So you are the homeless person, you are connected to the president, you are connected to everyone and everything. And this is why we have to always look at the lens. That doesn't mean that we condone bad behavior. That's not what we say. We don't condone bad behavior. Because when you condone bad behavior continues. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that when we know that we are connected to everything and everything in this universe, and we alter our behavior in a way that actually takes into consideration that we are all connected, we all alter our behavior for the betterment of the planet, right? For the betterment of humanity. And that's what it's really about. So that it's really bettering yourself. When you help somebody else, you're actually helping yourself. That's what it is. When you help somebody, you're actually helping yourself. And so once we realize that we are connected and that when you help somebody, we're helping ourselves, think about the ripple effect of that on this planet. Okay, let's see. Hi, Raina. Thank you so much. May the universe immensely bless you for this. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, thank you, Ella. Okay, so part two of this, the power of pausing. Now, I talked about in part one the obvious, you know, the obvious situation where nothing is working out for you in life, right? Nothing's working. You're trying and trying and trying and trying. You're trying to find that job and nothing is working out for you. You have applied to 500 places and nothing is working out. And I talked about an example like that, a situational example. That's a situational example, is what I would call it. Now, let's talk about the mindset example. The first thing that we have to do, how did this person get into that situational example of not finding a job? How did they get into that position? It starts from the mind. It starts from your thoughts. If your thought is saying constantly to yourself, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, your thought is saying, you know what? I'm not good enough for that. There's a subconscious mind that's running, and subconscious mind is kind of running 95% of who you are. And that subconscious mind keeps saying, that subconscious mind keeps saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Are you going to be able to find that job? Right? Are you going to actually be able to find that and connect to that right job? energetically. You can't, because the universe is only going to match you to what you're expressing and broadcasting out to the universe. That's all it's doing. So as you keep broadcasting, I'm not good enough, how are you going to really find that job? That's why every action that you take, and it could lead to nothing, because you keep broadcasting the same thing over and over again. And so this is where, and then so as you keep broadcasting more and more, the momentum gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is where we've got to prevent that from even happening. This is really the step one. The step one is pausing your thoughts. That is step one. What are you saying to yourself? You have to be extremely aware of what you're saying about yourself and about your life. What are you actually saying? Are you saying that you're not good enough for that job, or good enough for that relationship, or good enough to have a certain amount of money? Is this what you're really saying to yourself in the deepest subconscious mind? What is your subconscious mind saying to you? Not just conscious mind, but your subconscious mind. What is it really saying to you, to your inner child? Is it saying things that honor yourself, that honor your gifts and talents that God has bestowed upon you? Is it saying those things that actually honor you and honor your gifts, honor your talents, honor the things that honor your infinite potential? Is it doing that? Or is it saying things that are just kind of putting you down constantly? That you're not good enough because you don't have this or you don't have that. The true nature of reality is that you are unconditionally worthy by the virtue of your existence. You are unconditionally worthy by the virtue of your existence. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, or what home you have, or what car you drive. That is just that has nothing to do with your worthiness. And what it is this is we are so brainwashed into thinking that we are conditionally worthy because we have this money, we have this home, we have this, and we look like this. Therefore, we are now worthy. We're so brainwashed into that way of thinking, right? No wonder why so many of us have self-worth issues. No wonder why, right? I mean, every time we turn around, something like that is being imposed upon us, whether it's in media, whether it's our friends, whether it's our family, right? Whether it's our community, it's constantly imposing that pressure that there's something that we must physically have to be worthy. And so many of us are subconsciously, because now we've been hearing it for so many years, right? 10, 15, 20 years. Think about where your subconscious mind is at. So then we tell ourselves from that premise, we tell ourselves we're not good enough. We're not worthy enough. We're not this, we're not. We tell ourselves, we literally, our subconscious mind is running with that programming. We're not this, we're not that, we're not this. And so when we go out and we try to make something happen, manifest a job, manifest a relationship, we're broadcasting a low frequency that's just saying, no, you're not good enough. So you can't meet the right people, the right situations, and the right opportunities. Think about it. It makes sense. So what it is that the power, the tool of pausing becomes so critical at this time when you start saying those things to yourself. And what I would do is, in order to get to the deeper mind of what your deeper mind is saying to yourself, I would actually pause, do an exercise in a journal, take 30 minutes and write down exactly what are the things that you're saying to yourself, because a lot of it is subconscious. It's not even conscious. You might be like, Moon, I'm confident, consciously saying that, but deep inside, it's really saying something else. Oh, I mean, so, I've met people who are that seem confident on the outside, But then when you really get to know them, you realize that they are so not confident on the inside. They're so not confident. And I see this, I've seen this with many people. They're not confident. They just feel like they have to pretend. It's like acting. They have to pretend to be confident, right? Because otherwise, you know, people might take advantage of them, whatever the situation is. So you really want to know from a deeper point, what are you really saying to yourself? What are you really saying to yourself? That's really important. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a little break here and see if there's any questions. Hi, Moon. Hi, Ava. Hi, Daia. Okay, hi, Moon. Any tips how to navigate life and work life when you are extremely sensitive and high empathic? I feel so drained and triggered easily and made feel collapsing too easy in a job. Okay, I understand empathy because I am very empathic myself. That's why what's going on right now with all the fires and everything is really making me like it's really affecting me. And so with empaths, what you have to do is you have to do a lot of energetic clearing. I have meditations, guided meditations for energetic clearing. So go to my meditation playlist and look for cleansing this energetic. There's one that where you take energetic shower. So you want to energetically cleanse yourself because what's happening is you're absorbing all of this heavy energies, right? And then what's happening is rather than letting it run through you, you're holding on to it. And as you keep holding on to it, that's when you start to feel really anxious, stressed, depressed. Like those emotions start to come up because you're holding on. It's not even your energy. It's the things around you, or it could be even the planet. When the planet feels heavy, I feel heavy. So that's the time to do lots of cleansing. One of the t tools that's beautiful for this for empaths is close your eyes because you're 99.999% wave energy, that's who you really are. Close your eyes and see yourself as this wave energy, transparent wave energy, and see all of that toxicity or all of that low frequency energy just pass through you or run down you like it's just melting. Because like you can't physically hold on to it because you're just wave energy. So see yourself as that, put yourself in a transparent mode and see all of that go right through you, right through you, right through you. And I have a guided meditation for an energetic shower where you're actually cleansing yourself. Look for that guided meditation on my playlist. Let me see if I can find it and give you the link so that you could use this. I have a couple of different meditations for for energy cleansing, but here's one that let me try to find this one and so that you can you you could use it. Try to find the energetic cleansing. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this one is taking an energetic shower. Okay. But there's a couple of other ones that you could use. There you go. So that's really important for people who are empathic. And oftentimes people don't understand that they're empathic. And so they're holding on to all of these energies that do not even belong to them. And then they take it like it's them. Like they think it's them. They're depressed, they're anxiety, they're stressed. They say something's wrong with me when they don't realize that they're holding on to these energies and they should be released. And so a lot of empaths don't even understand that they're empathic and they take and hold on to the energies. And then it really affects them because they don't realize that they've got to release it. They've got to let it run through them. That's really important. You've got to energetically purify yourself. And you've got to do it like I do it almost daily, like energetically purifying myself. I do it almost daily. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome, Ava. You're welcome. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's other energies because when you're empathic, you're gonna absorb. There's no way you cannot absorb. And I'm in the same, and it's great. Empaths make the most beautiful people and healers. Once empaths understand how to cleanse themselves, then they could start to really heal others and help others heal, meaning like facilitate or guide others to heal. Because all healing is self-healing. All healing is self-healing. What energy medicine, like Reiki people, what they're doing is they're channeling the life force energy and transferring to you for you to heal. So it's just facilitating. Energy healers are facilitators to help you heal, but all healing is self-healing. And so once you can cleanse yourself as an empath, that's when you can help others because you understand the boundaries that you have to keep. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why empaths are the best healers because they can feel what's going on with people around them. They can feel it. And when you feel it and understand it, that's when you can help people better, right? But then they have to cleanse that energy so that they're not holding on to it and creating ailments eventually for themselves because it will turn into ailments and diseases. Okay. Okay. Ella asks how to change our subconscious mind to align with what we want to manifest. So there are many, many techniques that you can use to do that because you've got to change that subconscious mind, right? One of the things that I would say is one of the tools that I like is take a recorder, and recorders are so cheap. You couldn't even maybe record it on your phone. And then at night, before you go to bed, record all the statements that you think is gonna, the statements that you like that feel abundant, prosperous, right? And then what you want to do is when you're in bed, before you go to bed, take like 10, 15 minutes, or even if you could do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, listen to the tape, listen to your voice and repeat it. Repeat it, whatever it is that you've written down. I have talents and gifts that make me abundant. you know, I am prosperous because I am, the perfect image of God, or whatever it is that you've written down, repeat it, repeat it. And the reason why you want to do it right before the bed is because when you're in the bed, you're in that deeper state of mind, right? More in the subconscious state. And therefore, it's like you're absorbing it. And so during the evening, it could get absorbed even more. So that's one of the things. And so now this is why we're getting to the second part of the conversation of pause, is that throughout the day, now we're getting into, and this is a wonderful segue, so thank you. During the day, as you're moving forward with whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're doing dishes, walking your dog, pay attention to have an awareness of where your thought is. If you see something and you're saying something to yourself and it's a reaction to it, right? And oftentimes it could be a default reaction. We don't even understand that it's just default because we've trained our mind and we've trained our thoughts in that direction that we go to default to something that doesn't honor us or support us. So you have to be aware of where your default mind is. So set an intention every day. I set an intention to be aware of my thoughts. I set an intention to be aware of my thoughts. And whatever thoughts that do not honor my infinite potential, I must pause. Set that intention every day, every morning when you wake up. I set my intention. What thoughts do I have? I set my intention to be aware of my thoughts. And any thoughts that do not honor me, I pause. So when you set that intention, what you were saying is you're consciously telling your mind and your subconscious mind that you are going to now be aware of your thoughts. And as you become aware of your thoughts throughout the day, oh, wow, I just said something to myself like, oh, oh, I can't get that job because I don't have the right education. Like literally, like something like that. Like, do I have the like, oh no, that's not possible. Like you might have a thought, oh, that's not possible because I'm not good enough or I don't have enough experience. Experience comes because somebody gave you an opportunity to do something and you will get experience, right? So anytime you hear yourself saying things like that, you have to say, pause, pause. You want to pause that thought because that thought is no longer serving you. And then you say, okay, I paused this thought. What can I say? Oh, yes, I may not be able to do it today, but I could do it. I will eventually be able to do that job because it's all about, because I can learn or I could work myself way up, right? That's better than saying, no, 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 I can't do that. No, you can do it. You might not do it today, but it could happen in 6 months, a year. You know what I'm saying? That it will happen in due timing and I will learn as I go, right? So you have to, that's where you pause. That's where the pause becomes the most powerful is when you're pausing your thoughts. Because when you're pausing the thoughts, and you're stating something that really empowers you, then what you're doing is you're retraining that subconscious mind. And as you retrain that subconscious mind, that's when you retrain that subconscious mind, that's when things start to really happen for you, where you're now really operating at a different frequency. And because the universe always matches you, those opportunities and situations that are more prosperous, more abundant will come in to your experience. And so it's really about setting an intention to be aware of your thoughts every day, setting that intention like I will make sure I am committed to being aware of my thoughts, number one. And number two, when I am aware of my thoughts that do not honor me or support my potential, I will pause it. I will pause it before it becomes a runaway train. Because if you keep repeating that thought, you're now going to create that momentum of that downward spiral, right? So you're trying to prevent that momentum. That's why it's so much easier to do it when it's your thought than now when you have to do it through action, right? It's easier to do it through thought first than when you have to take action because a thought could be reversed without having to, spend money or take, not, it doesn't take much time to pause, right? So you're not using a lot of external resources to deal with that. Whereas if you are in a downward spiral, because the momentum is so big, because you have repeated a thought many times, and now all your actions have supported that thought, and now you have no money, right? Because you always felt that you weren't not prosperous or you always felt that lack and you have no money, that problem is going to be much bigger to fix than if you had said 5 years ago, I am worthy. I'm worthy of having financial prosperity, right? Imagine if you said that your life, you would probably have money, right? So it's a lot easier to fix at that stage than it is when you start to see physical manifestations. When you start to see physical manifestations, that's when it gets harder, much harder. So that's why pausing in this early stage is so vital. That's why it's so vital. The tool of pausing at this early stage of your thoughts are so vital. And so that's why if you want to train it more, like I said, at nighttime, well, first of all, record your voice, write down some statements, record your voice, and then replay it right before you go to bed over and over again. Every night, play it. And then maybe you have another set of things that you want to say. You write it, record it, and then play it before you go to bed. Play it, okay? Okay. Observe, don't absorb. Very smart. Observe, don't absorb. Very smart, Heidi. Thank you so much. So that's one of the tools to change your subconscious mind. I just gave you a few of them, but throughout the day, have absolute awareness of what you are saying to yourself and about your life. Does it honor and support your infinite potential and your talents and gifts, or does it knock it down? Because anything that you say that doesn't honor your potential, you have to pause it. because every single one of us has potential in a different way. We're all different. It's just apples, oranges, grapes. That's all it is. Apple is not better than an orange. Orange is not better than an apple. It's not better than a grape. It's just all different, right? So you want to meet your unique potential. That's what you're trying to meet. So anything that is not supporting that, you have to pause. You have to pause that. How do I keep the boundary? Okay, when you say hi Lily, nice to meet you. How do I keep the boundary? Boundary of what? Boundary from people or boundary of your thoughts? Because when you have boundary with your thoughts, you will automatically have boundary, external boundary. And the way you have boundary is you do not accept. If there's somebody treating you a certain way, you just don't accept it. You know, Thich Nhat Hanh always said, you only can be affected by what you allow to be affected by. Other people can't really affect you. It's that you're allowing it to affect you. So if you're allowing somebody to cross your boundary, that's what it is. It's you have to set the boundary. Say, no, that's not acceptable to me. Or the boundary of your thoughts. Again, pausing is the tool to set that boundary. No, I'm no longer going to say this about myself. I am no longer say that I can't do it or I'm not good enough or I'm limited in what I can do. I'm no longer going to say that. That is a boundary that you have to set internally. And when you set that internal boundary, those external boundaries will come easily. External boundaries of other people taking advantage of you. If a family member is constantly taking advantage of you, you have to set those. If you set the internal boundary that no, that's not acceptable to me, that people are taking advantage of me, right? You set that internal boundary, then it's so much easier to set the external boundary, right? Because then you won't allow people to take advantage of you. You only we're taking advantage of because we allow these things to happen. We're allowing it. And that's why it happens. We're just allowing it. So you have to set the internal boundary that will allow you to then set the external boundary so that other people don't take advantage of you. Okay. Okay. So I hope that has helped you, Lily. But if you have any specific questions about what that boundary is, I would be happy to. Does it work with energetic boundary? Absolutely. Your thoughts is changes your energetic frequency. The mind is the bedrock. It's the foundation for shifting everything, shifting energetically. Now, of course, there's some external things like food diet could also help changing changing energy or the quality of the water, the quality of the air can also affect the energy, right? All of these things can affect the energy, of course, but the mind is a very powerful thing that could affect your energy. So the mind is something you have absolute control over, right? Maybe you don't have as much control over the air that you breathe, right? But you have absolute control over what thoughts you have, what you eat, because food also has energy, right? You have absolute control. So there's a lot of things that you have control over that you could control the energy. So that's why in Chinese medicine, this is why I'm so obsessed about Chinese medicine, because it's based on energetic principles. And in Chinese medicine, they look at everything. What are your thoughts? What are your emotions? What is your lifestyle? Because they know that everything changes the energy. And so Chinese medicine is all about flowing blocked energy. That's why you go to acupuncture to flow blocked energy, right? They're always putting needles in certain points and meridians points to flow any blocked energy because everything is energy. So that's really the essence of Chinese medicine. Whether it's through acupuncture herbs, you're trying to flow that energy in the right direction. And so this is one of the reasons why I love Chinese medicine. And that's why I'm working on this AI Chinese medicine platform, because it's based on an energetic system, qi, life force energy, yin yang, five elements, all these energetic principles. Okay. Yeah, Heidi, I hope you have filled out our survey on this AI educational platform completed the survey because we're asking you to tell us what it is you want in such a AI educational platform. So here's the link to the survey. And if you haven't filled it out, please do so because you're letting us know what it is you would like on such a platform so that we could build a platform that is for your highest and best good, for your highest and best, to support you and your family's wellness. So please go to that link. It's 69moons.co/consumers. Go to that link and please complete the survey for any of you because we're building this AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system. And we're asking you to give us feedback about what you would like in such a platform that would really serve you and your family's health and wellness. So thank you so much. Vanchika. Hi, Vanchika. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. There's been heavy energies with all the fire going on. And some people I know are really going through a lot because of the Southern California fires. And so we're dealing with that. And but I'm very grateful for everything. You get a message to block or and I, huh? You click the link and get in chat and you get a message to block or report. That's weird. Yeah, maybe type. Oh, it might be because of the YouTube. It's probably YouTube is maybe. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do. Go to a separate browser and type it in because it shouldn't. I think YouTube is blocking the chat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Ava says, so basically we attract negative experience in our life by the way how we talk to ourselves. Yes, we attract a lot of negative things by what we say. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. So because the universal forces are inclusive, it's not exclusive. So every time you're broadcasting something to the universe is just showing you that. So anything, your life is like a hologram. It's like a movie that's being played out. And that movie is a reflection of your inner world. So your outer world is really in effect. That's why when we have, so think about it. If, we have 6 billion people on this planet, and let's say 3 billion people are broadcasting a low frequency, right? Think about why we have so many problems on the planet. Because most of us don't feel we're good enough. Most of us are putting out this low frequency energy. Think about how it affects the entire planet. That's why, we have so many problems because so many of us are broadcasting a low frequency. And when we broadcast this low frequency, it returns back to us. And so there's absolute a correlation because the mind is a consciousness and so anything that we have in nature, ocean, the wind, the sun, the mountains, they're all energetic consciousness, meaning they have an intelligent awareness like your mind does. So everything is going to affect everything. So as we keep broadcasting this and what we call the collective consciousness, then the planet is showing us in external world a reflection of the inner world. So think of your life as like a movie, like a hologram. And the movie is showing you where your internal world is at, okay? Okay. Hi, Vanchika. I hope the situation gets better ASAP. Sending all good energy ever suffering out there. Thank you so much. Okay. Moon, why does my head feel heavy all the time, even if my health is on track? Could it be a spiritual reason behind it? You know what? That's a good question. When when you say heavy, head feels heavy. Okay. I'm not sure what heavy means. Like, I'm trying to figure out what that really means. What is my intuitive sense picking up that it's heavy? It could be, yes, of course. I think that there's always a spiritual reason behind everything, right? We are all on a soul's journey, whether we realize it or not. And our soul is here to have all of these experiences. So we're always on a spiritual journey. Always. We're always on a spiritual journey. Um, It's hard for me to answer that question. I'm not getting a hit. I'm not getting it. Usually I get a very intuitive hit as to why it might happen. And for some reason, it's blocked in this situation of why you might feel heavy in the head as opposed to heavy, because the head would usually be connected with the body. And so when you're saying the head is connected, um, what are your thoughts? What I would do is I would take an examination of all my thoughts. I would like write down, what am I thinking right now? What are my thoughts right now? What are the thoughts? Write it down and see if there's any patterns that you're seeing in what you're thinking. Like, what are you saying? Write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. And don't overthink it. Just write down whatever comes to mind. Just write it down, write it down, write it down. Whatever comes to mind. Don't think it. Just do it. Don't think, don't judge it. Don't judge the thoughts either and write it down. And then see what the patterns are. See what the patterns are. Are the patterns in a way that honors you? Or are the patterns like, I'm saying things that are like, catastrophic. I'm saying things that do not honor me. I'm saying things, I'm thinking thoughts that, saying, see what patterns you're having with your thoughts. And from there, you might say, oh, I get why my head is heavy because this is what I keep saying. And this stuff that I keep saying is heavy. It's not light. It's not creation. It's not positive. It's not towards the light. It's very dark. So write it down and see what patterns you see. That's what I would suggest so that you could figure out, wow, yeah, kind of like numb, and I have no energy to do daily life chores. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. I get what you're saying. Like, I get it. There's no motivation because you're like, yeah, you know what? In that case, I would probably go do some meditations and I would ask my inner child, you know, whenever I'm confused, I go into meditation. I usually ask my inner child, what's going on here? Tell me. Like I do meditations and I go inward more to figure out. Like I would talk to my inner child and say, why do I not have any motivation? Why is my mind numb? Like I would literally ask my inner child. And what happens from this, I usually get images or thoughts or words, and then afterwards I would write it down to figure out why, I'm going through that or I feel that way or, you know, so that's what I would do. I would do ask your inner child, what's going on here? And keep doing it because you might not get the answer at the first try. Everything is practice for me, everything. Okay, so thank you. Okay, everyone. So if nobody else has questions, we can wrap up this call or this session. Okay, so use the power of pausing when nothing is working out in your life, and use the power of pausing your thoughts so that you could reverse your subconscious mind and reverse it to have thoughts that support and honor your potential. Because once you have thoughts and once your subconscious mind starts to believe that you are good enough, all of your actions will be empowering. They will be empowering actions that will elevate your life more and more. Okay, so let's do a closing prayer now. Dear God, angels, spirit guides, and masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to open this sacred space of the power of pausing when things are not working out, or the pausing or power of pausing our thoughts so that we may have thoughts and feelings that truly honor our infinite potential. I thank you so much for continuing to guide these beautiful souls and all of the souls on this planet to their highest and best and potential and highest and best good for why they are all here. They're all beautiful spiritual beings that have each have a soul's journey that is unique to each one of them. So I ask you to continue to guide them, continue to provide them with wisdom, continue to show a light on their path of which way that they should go to empower themselves and to continue to protect them. And most importantly, we are really thankful for your unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste. Okay, much love and blessings to all of you. Have a beautiful